Hey everybody, this is Harshit and welcome back to the channel. And I don't really make these zero sum videos, but I really had to put this video out because this is completely misleading and literally obnoxious in 2024 and it doesn't really make any sense. And I really didn't expect this video from a creator like Rasmiq because personally I've been following Rasmiq for a while right now. I've been watching his videos on ShadCNUI v0.dev. That's how I got to know him. And it was also on Greg Eisenberg's video as well, which I really loved. But this video is very, very misleading and it gives the wrong impression to everybody starting out. So I just want to get this straight. All right, so first what we're going to do is we'll be watching this video and I'll be pausing this and sharing my real raw thoughts on what I really think and where the industry is heading. And from my experience as someone who has sold a company for $500,000 built from scratch, what insights do I have different from Rasmiq? So let's go ahead and listen to it.
AI is making you a terrible developer, and indie hacking is making you a terrible business person. Well, we'll talk about the indie hacking later, but I really want to talk about AI making us terrible developers. Now, this is a problem, there is a solution, and I will share it at the very end. But first, I want to talk a little bit more about the problem. Now, one thing that I think we can all come into agreement with is that the models keep on getting better. Now, a lot of people have a dispute on at what rate the models will be getting better. Is it more linear, or is it going to blast up and then plateau, or are we going exponential? And whatever side you're on or you lean, at the end of the day, the consensus is these models are going to be getting better. Claude, GPT, Gemini, and whatever other model exists. And in conjunction to the models getting better, that means the coding tools are going to get better. Windsurf, Cursor, V0, Bolt.new, all these tools that are using these AI models under the hood are going to be getting better. And now the reason why, if you're not familiar, the reason why us developers, I myself as a developer use these AI models is they allow me to move fast, build fast. They make researching much easier. I remember a time where you'd have to spend a good chunk of time Googling, keywording on Stack Overflow, trying to get your answer. And then they do tasks that us as developers don't want to do, like writing comments, cleaning up code, refactoring, mobile optimizing. And if someone says to me that, oh, these models are actually not that good when it comes to helping you move and build faster, the only thing I would say is you're probably terrible at prompting, right? I believe that I've got to a point where I can prompt these models so well that I can build full applications just by prompting. And I've done that before. But here is the problem. Here is the issue. I
Okay, so the first part has got everything correct, that you're only as good as your prompting skills and the whole point about the models getting better. It's just true that models are getting really good and the underlying applications are of course using the model itself. So it's just getting better. We've in the last week alone, we've seen Qwen 2.5, we've seen DeepStake, and a lot of other, even Gemini has shared something, and everyone's just making these open source models like Qwen and DeepStake, which are on par with O1 and Sonnet 3.5. And these are literally open source. You can run them locally if you have a rig, or you can level up your way to the rig. You start off with a small Mac Mini, and then you level up to the rig by making money there. But I guess the first part has got everything perfect. It's just so right. But now here's where the problem is. So we've understood his perspective as a developer, and me being a non-developer, I wouldn't have known about Stack Overflow as much because I haven't gone through the whole pain of going on Google and doing everything, all the research by myself. Because to be super honest, I've started building applications like full stack applications. It's only been 9 months or about an year since I've been doing it. So I wouldn't have known the pain that developers have go through in the early stages without AI. So that I give it to him. But now let's listen to this part.
realized when I was doing this, and primarily I did this to move a lot faster, to get projects done, freelance work done, and it works. And obviously, there's human input, right? But one thing I realized is I was robbing myself of learning, especially when I was doing this for my side projects, right? It's one thing to do it for your freelancing work, contract work, or like even at work if they allow you to use AI models. Um, but it's another thing when you're using it for your side projects. And I started doing that. And I realized using Claude, using all these models, these tools, and reaching the end goal is cool. But if you're not a senior engineer, you rob yourself of a learning experience that comes from learning from your mistakes, learning from bad code and then reviewing it and fixing it, learning from practicing, right? And I want to make this clear that what I'm saying doesn't what I'm not saying is, oh, don't ever use the tools, like stop AI, ban it, cancel it. That's not what I'm saying. And also what I'm saying does not apply to senior engineers, right? If you are a fan of web dev Cody like I am and you're subscribed to his channel, I remember him talking about how when people complain about using AI models, he doesn't really care. And Cody, if I'm misquoting you, correct me in the comments. And the reason being is he just wants to build products that end users will enjoy. And the reason why he can say that is because he's a senior engineer. He's been in the game for 10 plus years. You and I have not been in the game that long. That being
Brother, the whole point is that you don't have to be in the game for 10 years. That's the whole point. See, what Web Dev Cody is saying is correct, because the whole point about AI is you don't have to be in the game for 10 years. Why don't you fucking get it, bro? See, look at this, all right? Everything that all the best developers in the world know, now the LLM knows. And someone without a learning curve can just implement that and build applications. And okay, let us go back a couple of seconds here. What does he mention here? Yeah. Mm, yes. The whole point about robbing yourself of learning experience, we learn from our mistakes, we learn from writing bad code and then fixing it, we learn from practicing. Guys, I think this is utterly bullshit because see, me as a non-coder, I have gone through these mistakes as well, right? Because when I opened VS Code, I at first I had no idea what VS Code was, but I still opened what VS Code is, used ChatGPT, made a bunch of mistakes, and now I use VS Code. And there was a time I didn't even know what Command Option S was. I mean, I wasn't saving my files, and it wasn't reflecting in my application, and I was confused. And there are multiple mistakes like that. You're still making mistakes, you're still learning, even when you are an AI developer, right? So I call myself an AI developer who can build applications just using AI, and it has nothing to do with having 10 years of experience. To be honest, currently most of the engineers right now, what I'm seeing in India and Canada is that most CS engineers are unemployable. Even if they have skills, even if they have everything, even if they have all the knowledge, they're still not being able to get a job. They're not hireable. Do you get the point? You can't hire them because they don't have the skills. And what does it? I mean, what sense does it make to learn? Learning from your mistakes and writing bad code and fixing it. Okay, you might have gone through everything, but if you're not getting a job, if you're not able to build products, then what's the use of the whole learning experience, right? I just don't understand the point here. See, I think that's the problem with developers, man. They really think coding is like a god skill. It's really not. All right. So when I built my own startup, it was in December 2020. I sold it in December 2023, but when I started in January, I thought developers were gods because I couldn't code. I was good with people. I was good with business. I had this marketing acumen, but I thought developers were gods, man. They're building something, out of nothing. They're just coding. They're just typing on the computer. They're just building stuff. And honestly, I got this, Keychron keyboard just to feel like a developer when I couldn't code, just typing in and just getting that kick. But then you realize they are dumb fuckers. Like they don't know shit. All they can do is just build, but they don't know what they're building. They don't know why they're building. They don't know how this can solve problems. They just follow instructions like robots and then they build it. But there are these developers who also know people skills and coding skills. Those are the guys we hear about, right? They are Those guys are the real deal. And if you're just confused about everything that you're listening here, I think it's completely okay. That's how the world is heading, and conflicts like these are going to be there. Developers versus non-developers, AI coders versus non-AI coders, and all of this. But again, the whole uh, at a larger picture, it's a positive sum game, right? But yes, let's go ahead listen to what he says next.
doing that.
I think we'll just have to skip a couple of
People
points here.
complain about using AI models, he doesn't really care. And products that end users will enjoy. And the reason why he can say that is learning, practicing, building for some nice animation, right? Like if you use V0 for like maybe some front end for a custom component for some nice animation, that's cool. But at the end of the day, if you're starting to solely rely on the models and you can't raw dog VS Code, you are robbing yourself of a learning experience.
That's the point here. The okay, you know what? Let me give a better example, right? First off, let me say the entire premise of this video is flawed. Because let's imagine you're in a stone age and we had to beat stones to make fire. It was like a life or death skill. But now all you need is to click a lighter or just light up a matchstick. And it doesn't mean that you're terrible at making fire, right? No, that's because the skill isn't relevant anymore. So why focus so much on skills that you know are going to be irrelevant, that you know are going to be replaced by AI? So let's say, okay, let's take an example here, right? Where he talks about we learn from writing bad code and then fixing it. Trust me, wait for 6 months. We're going to have an AI tool specifically that's going to fix bad code, then fix it. All right. So there's going to be an AI like that. So the whole point about coding line by line and coding line by line is a modern equivalent of rubbing stones together because it's tedious, it's outdated, and frankly, it's a waste of time in today's fast-paced world. And the skill in 2024 is not about coding, guys. It's about using AI and tools effectively to solve real-world problems. And this is something that I had a problem with in crypto as well because everyone's like launching meme coins, some shit communities, and all of this, but you're not solving real world problem, guys. That's the whole point about code. That's the whole point about software. If you're not solving problems, there's no point of even doing all of this. And he says it's cool and all to just do v0 and everything, guys. It's not cool. It's a whole subset. It's a whole skill. You are prompting. You're making a UI template, a mock-up, and then you're using that on cursor. It's not just cool. It is a skill.
That being said, how do we solve this? And
Okay, let's see what he says. How we solve being a durable developer.
the reason why I asked this question is because these models are not going to go away. And if you and I don't adapt to using these models, learning these models, we're going to get smoked, right? Because a 10x engineer with AI models will be a 100x engineer, but a 10x engineer without AI models is just going to be a 10x engineer. So
Wrong. That's completely wrong. A 10x engineer with AI models is going to be a 100x engineer, and a 10x engineer without AI models is going to be a zero engineer. Because if you're not using this, no one's going to hire you. And even in the start, it was like you can use AI models if your company allows you. Guys, there is no such thing as company allowing you to use AI. Companies are pushing you to use AI. I've got Cursor subscription. I work at justpay.ai. It's a YC funded startup, and the founder is on the forefront of using technology, using AI. I just told him, "Hey Daniel, I found out this cool tool. Can I use this tool?" He didn't even think a minute. He saw that, he saw the reviews, and then he bought me the whole subscription for a year. And guess what? I built out the whole sidebar in a YC funded company called justpaid.ai, which is now in production. And I'm not an outlier, guys. I'm not an outlier. Don't look at me as an outlier. Okay, you sold a company. You don't put me on a pedestal. I'm just giving you a raw example here. I pushed and I pushed a code to production. Of course, it was reviewed. There was all of these steps, but I'm a non-coder, guys. I was able to do it. Don't you get the point? I mean, guys. All right. So let's listen to this again.
So we have to incorporate these models in our day to day. We have to practice using these models, learn these models. But from a developer standpoint, how do I keep getting better as these models are getting better, right? As more abstraction is just being added. And I have a solution for this. The solution is build projects without AI, right? For example, I have, oops, didn't mean to say this. I have a product that I'm working on, and it's completely open source. You can look at the code, and it's Goshen Pay Next.js and Goshen Pay Backend. And basically, what this is, I'm building a payments service for churches in Canada. Um, and I've just been using VS Code, and it's been great. So I highly encourage you that have projects that you're building for the sake of learning. Build it without using AI. VS Code, no cursor, no windsurf, no bolt. I'm not saying don't use these tools ever. What I'm saying though, keep in mind that as these tools get better and better, make sure that you are also learning and being a better developer. So one thing I would do is
Okay, so he's given like two contradicting points here, right? The whole point he was saying, okay, you can build your own projects without using AI. The first thing is, I really don't believe him saying, okay, he built his own payment application just without AI, because if you look at all of his videos, he's been pushing Cursor, V0, all of these applications, and I think it's been 8 days since he posted a video, and this is the video, and it's completely like different from all the videos that he's posted before, right? So I think that's wrong. Firstly, he must have 100% used AI in some form, let's say for brainstorming or creating a mock-up, right? Creating a mock-up using V0, he must have 100% done that for sure. Right, so I'm pretty sure it's lying there. And the second point, wait, I forgot the second point. What was he saying? Yeah, I forgot the second point. Wait.
keep in mind that as these tools get better and better, make sure that you are also
Yeah. So what he was saying was, make sure as the tools are getting better and better, you're also learning how to be a good engineer. He thinks of it as going back to the fundamentals of learning syntax. That's wrong. If you want to be a better developer, you learn the new tools. You start learning how to prompt. That's how you become a better developer, and not just learning syntax. Guys, I come from Hyderabad, and Hyderabad is a city in India which has got the most number of developers that you can see. There's a place called Amirpet. There you get like 500,000 engineers just sitting and coding, and trust me, none of them are getting jobs. Guys, I'm telling you, it's for real. None of them are getting jobs. And I'm telling you, they're the best developers on the planet. They can just code, they can write syntax, word to word, everything. But what's the point? What's the point if you're not able to build? What's the point if you're not able to communicate in English, sell it to a client? What's the point if you're not able to make it into a solution that the world uses? So stop glorifying syntax. Stop glorifying, learning word to word, or I don't know what you call it, like syntax to syntax, line to line coding. That's obsolete. That's literally obsolete.
learning and being a better developer. So one thing I would do is I would build projects without AI, right? And if you want to incorporate AI even in your project building, high level questions. What tools should I use? What DB should I use? How should I architect this project, right? These are great things to prompt these AI models because they'll teach you, draw diagrams and all this stuff. But the most important thing, aside from building projects without AI, is to consistently sharpen your skills. One of the ways I consistently sharpen my skills is by using today's sponsor, Scrimba. Now, Scrimba is one of those platforms, those learning platforms for developers that's just different. And the reason why I say it's just different,
All right, so now you know the point of the video. Now you really know the point of the video, which is just a sponsor. He's been paid by a sponsor. Pretty sure it's like a couple thousand dollars. He's been paid by the sponsor, and now he just wants to make he's forced into making a video which is pro like developers who are not using AI as much. I mean, it looks like a platform, Scrimba, whatever the fuck it's called. Sounds like a Disney movie. But yes, it's look at all right. So if he says that, I mean, why is AI here, right? If it's like a non AI tool, which is like used for learning content by content, why is AI here? Why is it, guys? This is so funny. I mean, I'm just gonna quote Naval Ravikant, right? So Naval says, learn to leverage. So the real power in any field isn't about doing everything yourself. It's about understanding how to use these tools to your advantage. The calculator didn't make mathematics obsolete. It made them more powerful. It actually made them more powerful by freeing the grunt work. So I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to say here, right? So mathematicians just didn't go obsolete because of calculators. They became more powerful because now they can use the tools and stop the grunt work. And similarly, AI doesn't make developers bad. It lets them focus on creativity, problem solving, and application building. What's valuable in today's world is problem solving and creativity. It's not memorizing syntax or struggling to debug line to line. Stop, again, I repeat my words, stop glorifying coding, stop glorifying line by line coding. Doesn't make any sense.
I'm currently taking the advanced JavaScript course because I want to sharpen my JavaScript skills. I realized, sometimes as JS developers, you write so much JSX that you forget JavaScript. So I started to go through the advanced JavaScript course. And this is why Scrimba is different. I can play the
Let's have a
video.
challenge.
All right, I don't want to promote those sponsors, so I'm just gonna skip it. I don't want to promote them because they didn't pay me for it. Even if they did, I don't think if it's completely contradicting to my channel, I wouldn't have promoted it. All right, so let's get back to the point here. Now, I hope you guys get why he did this. I think I saw a couple of comments also which actually mentioned this. All right, so now let's see what he
AI
says.
tools are great. Bolt is great. V0 is great. Claude is great. All these tools, Windsurf is great. Cursor is great. All these tools are great. But if you want to be a great developer, like I want to be, if you want to be an excellent developer, like I want to be, I believe in being excellent in all that you do, right? I want to be excellent in every aspect of my life. That one of them being a developer, being an engineer. You got to sharpen your skills. You got to build stuff without AI. You have
I mean, I don't know if he really thinks he has to do it to sharpen his skills, go ahead and do it. But for folks who are creative like me, you don't really have to do it. You can work on something else. You can work on ideas. You can work on scribbling your ideas, just going on Twitter, creating these tiny bots that actually do the work for you. I think doing that is creativity instead of just going back to school, learning all the obsolete stuff. I don't think that's sharpening. Okay, I can just go back to 10th grade and learn the Pythagoras theorem, but how is that helping me? How is the Pythagoras theorem helping me? But if you go back to school and learn the fundamentals, sharpening your skills about basic arithmetic, thinking, learning, reading, the fundamentals will help you, and not like you know cos theta, sine theta. That's not going to help you out. So be careful on what skills you're even spending your time on, because one thing that we've got limited is time. We don't have a lot of time. There are so many tools, there's so many things to explore, but we don't have a lot of time. So your time is limited, and it makes a lot of sense to use that time efficiently in the skills that's actually going to be useful. And to be honest, let's cut the shit out, guys. What does useful mean? Useful means monetization. Are you able to monetize your skills? If not, fuck those skills. It's that simple. That's it. All right, so I've a couple of pointers to share as well. So I want to talk about like Balaji Srinivasan. So let's take a page from Balaji Srinivasan where he talks about um, the power of exponential technologies and how they level the playing field. In today's world, someone with access to AI can outperform an entire team of traditional developers. And this isn't about being a bad developer. It's about being a smarter, more efficient developer, someone who takes an idea, builds it using tools at hand, and brings it to the market faster than ever. All right, so market even reminds me, in the entire 8-minute video, he hasn't spoken a thing about product hunt or indie hacking, right? I think he spoke about indie hacking, saying how indie hacking is making you a bad businessman. That's the funniest thing I've ever heard. If you're building something, if you're able to sell it, if you're able to get customers for it, that itself is business. You can call it anything: indie hacking, venture based business. All of these are titles, guys. In the end, are you solving a problem? Are the customers paying for the problem that you're solving for? If they are, then you're in business, baby. You don't have to just stop indie hacking just because some guy on the internet says so. right? I'm pretty sure he hasn't ever built a real application and posted it on Product Hunt, right? I have. You can actually check my Product Hunt as well, right? So guys, just listen to the practitioners. Listen to someone who's actually practiced it. See, this is one thing, right? You might have the best ideas in the world. You can speak as much as you want. When you get into the market, guys, when you get into the market shows you the reality. The market shows you where you stand, and that's why most also this guy's actually is working a full-time job, right, as an engineer. So I guess he's just an engineer. He's not a visionary like me. He can't envision the future. He can't envision like 10 steps in 10 steps ahead. That's what billionaires do. That's what entrepreneurs and visionaries do. I'm pretty sure he's not a visionary, and that's why he's getting ideas like these, like pointers like these. But if you're a non-coder and if you kind of felt like, okay, a little demotivated by watching his video, I'm just gonna say strike that shit off. Watch his previous videos. His previous videos are gold. They're gold, guys. His previous videos are gold. But that's what happens, right? The bigger you become, the bigger sponsors you get, you kind of divert from your own mission and your soul. Maybe that kind of happened to him as well. That's what I feel. But yes, I'm just being honest. I also watched a recent podcast of Yuval Noah Harari. If you don't know him, Yuval Noah Harari is actually he wrote the book *Sapiens*, and in the evolution of skills, he mentions, you know, there's a whole evolution of skills, right? So how do skills evolve? So throughout history, humans have continuously offloaded tasks to technology, and from wheel to the steam engine, from typewriters to computers, it's that's how it's been. And the idea of coding as a scarred skill is no different from ancient scribes clinging to their ability to write manuscripts by hand after the printing press was invented. So it's time to evolve or just get left behind. It's that simple. That's the whole point of my pointers as well, because it's like I was just watching this and I just had it so much in my heart. I just couldn't stop. I just had to make a video on this and share it with the world, even if like just a couple hundred people watch this, right?
To just raw dog VS Code. And that's pretty much it for this video, guys. I want us to be great developers. That's why I started the YouTube channel. I hope I've encouraged you. I hope I'm helping. And don't get it twisted. I'm going to drop videos using the latest and greatest AI tools because I believe that they're important. Best believe I'm also going to be learning and sharpening my skills.
All right, so maybe good for him. He says, see, the thing is, I'm pretty sure he just did it for the sponsor. He's a pro AI guy, but what I've also understood is he doesn't get the point that even non-developers can build full-fledged applications. That's what he lacks. He thinks only senior engineers. I don't give a shit about what the roles are, senior, full stack, back end. I don't give a shit. Me, I care about building and just pushing it out there on Product Hunt and getting the customers for it. That's it. That's my mindset. So that's what I just want to share with you guys. I don't want to make it like a roast or anything. It's just my honest pointers. You should still follow this guy. You should still follow Rasmiq. I guess he really makes a lot of good videos on AI for sure. But this video, it was a miss, and pretty sure it was just for the sponsor. I think that's all from my end. Hope you liked the pointers that I was able to share. But yes, I guess this is what I wanted to share, guys, and hope you were able to get some value from me as well. So thanks again for watching, guys. This is your boy Harshit Vadiparthi. Say that's all for me. Thanks again for watching, guys. Peace.